Hey everyone, welcome back. I had a bit of a writer's block last week, or to be honest, a bit of a doubts block. There's so many topics around arts and music I have prepared for this channel, but last week I just wasn't feeling any of it. So I was trying to find ways to snap out of it and get inspired, and while I was doing that, I thought this is such a common thing we all face when we set out to do something that I decided to dive into it a bit further and maybe find a remedy that would help at times when we just can't do it. Some people believe that we have to have a special gift or talent that flows naturally and effortlessly from us, and if that doesn't happen, maybe we're not supposed to be creating. But many examples of very successful and talented people in the history of the world have shown us that this is absolutely not true. We are all creative by nature in one way or the other, and often all that's stopping us are just different degrees of fears and doubt, as we all know. Inspiration and creativity are for most artists an ongoing battle. History and mythology show us that these topics were often spoken of and were given much attention. Old Greek poets and philosophers believed that divine beings inspire those fully devoted to their arts and those who are open enough to receiving. They believed that their inspiration depended on them. Old Vedic scriptures from India often tell stories of perseverance and austerities that produced result. In order for someone to get something, he or she must sacrifice something else. It's almost safe to say that at some point in our creative life, we all stumble upon this. Sometimes the more excited we are about our ideas, the harder it is to actually do it. A description of this whole process is so interestingly described in Pressfield's book, The War of Art. He calls this force that keeps us from going after our ideas and inspirations resistance. It's what stands between us and our dreams. Pressfield describes resistance as our self-generated enemy that feeds on fear. Most commonly, it's expressed as procrastination because we can rationalize it the most easily, but it can take many other forms like gossiping, intoxication, overeating, and dramatizing. If in doubt, you can tell it was indeed resistance by feelings of unfulfillment and emptiness after the activities are done. But at the same time, resistance can be very helpful, as Pressfield says, because it's pointing us to our true calling. Fear of it just indicates it's something we were supposed to be doing. So again, stepping out of our comfort zone seems to be the key point of one's growth in life. But how do we overcome resistance? We beat it by turning pro. It has very little to do with talent or skill. It's the ability or discipline to sit down and actually start to work while knowing there never is a more perfect time. And that's something we have to work on every day. We can be a pro one day and an amateur again the next. According to Pressfield, when we do that, we get rewarded for our courage and perseverance by a magical, mystical force that guides us and helps us on the way. He calls that a muse. This is the other secret that real artists know and wannabe writers don't. When we sit down each day and do our work, power concentrates around us. The muse takes note of our dedication. She approves. We have earned favor in her sight. When we sit down and work, we become like magnetized rod that attracts iron flings. Ideas come, insights accrete. When we finish a project, it's important to be humble enough to learn from it and at the same time not take it too personally. It also helps to set up your own ritual before you start work and in that way prepare your mind for the creative process. It could be as simple as stretching a little or preparing a special tea. Pressfield warns us that we must accept that the battle never ends, but learning and pushing forward will always beat resistance. So the remedy for any writers or doubts block would then be as simple as just showing up and doing the work. I definitely can't pretend I've fully internalized this concept yet, but I will continue to stride towards it as much as I can. I really am interested in how do you approach such moments in your life. It always helps when people share their battle strategies to many successful wars. Thanks for watching and I'll see you next week.